Now press 1. With your arrow keys, place your light bar on Pennsylvania 640, which is the Lotto game I'm using for all examples on this tape. Press Enter. And now you're back at the main menu. Make sure that Pennsylvania 640 is in the upper right-hand corner of your screen. If not, press 1 and select it. Now press menu option 4 for the Drawing Since Hit chart. The Drawing Since Hit chart shows how many losing games have taken place between wins for each of the Lotto numbers. It gives you an instant reading of which numbers are hot and which numbers are not. A quick glance at this chart will show you the recent past action of all the Lotto numbers, such as how often the various numbers are hitting, which numbers are on a hot streak, which numbers are cooling off, which numbers are long shots, and so on. It's a fast, convenient way to track the numbers. The object of this chart is to help pick your numbers based on certain patterns, which I'll explain shortly. The Lotto numbers are listed across the top of the chart. The drawing dates run down the left side. A double pound sign means a hit, and of course you know a hit is a win. The @ sign, the A with a circle around it, means a winning number was won as a bonus number. The numbers in between the pound signs are the number of drawings skipped since the last hit. By the way, hits means wins and skips mean losing games. This is how to read the chart. In game 607, drawn on 12/28/1987, Lotto number 1 was a winner. Number 1 was a winner in the next game too. Then it skipped one game and hit again. Skipped another game and hit, this time as a bonus number. Then number 1 skipped 7 drawings before it hit again on game 620, drawn on February 12, 1988. Now it's out one game, which brings us up to the last game before the Pennsylvania game ended and was replaced with the 648 Lotto game. Use the page up, page down, home, and end keys to move the screen. Move the light bar with your up and down arrow keys. Patterns can be seen in the Drawing Since Hit chart, which can be used to your advantage. By studying the flow of number activity, you can learn a lot about the winning or losing patterns. The wonderful thing about this chart is that it does not require much game history to be of value. It's the most useful chart that you can use in a new Lotto game, say if it has only 40 or 50 drawings or so. I always print out the last full page because it's much easier to read the printout than scrolling this chart on the screen. For me, this is one of the most important charts in the program. I rely on it heavily for selecting my numbers. Some numbers have such critical patterns that I use the number no matter what other charts say about it. Other numbers I cross-reference to see if another chart confirms that it's the best bet for this particular drawing. After I've explained all the charts, I'll tell you the sequence I go through to pick my own Lotto numbers. The automatic smart picks get me to the best numbers faster, but whereas the computer treats all smart picks on one chart with equal value, I don't. On this chart, I look at technical corrections, Lotto trend reversals, cascades, reverse cascades, hot and hitting numbers, exhaustion breaks, double bottoms, triple bottoms, and other patterns. Here are some of the most important patterns you should look for in your game. After a long losing streak, a number finally hits. That means nothing. It could be just a technical correction, which is an insignificant reverse blip in a trend. Often a long dormant number may have a technical correction of one win before resuming its long downward trend. It's not uncommon for a Lotto number to lose 25 or more games, hit once, and then lose another 20 or 30 games. When a Lotto number has been inactive for a long time, it's best to wait for a trend reversal before you play it. A trend reversal is confirmed if a hit is followed by another hit within the next 4 drawings. That is, there must be 2 hits in rapid succession without more than 3 games skipped between the 2 hits. This is a clear signal of a trend reversal in most cases. Another type of trend reversal is the reverse cascade. Look for increasingly shorter skip periods between wins. This usually indicates that a Lotto number is attempting to end its downward trend and become a hot number. Let's say a number had skipped 27 games and hit, then skipped 12 games and hit, and then skipped 7 games. I would play it at that point, anticipating that the number would hit again before it was out as many games as the last skip, which was 12. If it did hit then, it would fulfill the 3-stage requirements of a reverse cascade and could become a hot number. So I would continue playing that number for several games. At least I would certainly include it in my wheel. As opposed to a reverse cascade, the cascade is increasingly longer skip periods between wins. For example, a number could skip 5 games and hit, skip 12 games and hit, and then skip 20 or 30 games. There are usually 3 steps in a cascade, sometimes 4. The last skip of a cascade is the exhaustion break, a dramatically longer skip period than the 2 that precede it. The standard trend reversal of 2 hits with 3 skips or less between the 2 hits marks the end of a cascade pattern. After that, the number may get hot. Just how far can you expect to ride a hot and hitting number before it nosedives? Well, a number can have a short hot streak with as few as 3 wins before it takes a long rest. Or, in the Canadian 639 Lotterio, number 28 had a record 15 wins without skipping more than 3 games between any 2 hits. But don't look for that to happen often. It was the ultimate, the record hot streak in that game. Number 35 had a hot and hitting streak of 13 games twice. A realistic hot streak for a hot and hitting number could be 6 hits before skipping more than 3 games between each hit. But many numbers have had 7, 8, or 9 wins before taking a rest of 4 or more games. However, it varies with the number field of the game. The smaller the number field of a Lotto game, the greater the possibility of having a longer hot and hitting winning streak. Conversely, in a Lotto game with a larger number field, such as a 6 out of 49 or a 6 out of 54, the hot and hitting winning streaks could occur less often and be of shorter duration. For example, in the German Lotto 649, a long hot and hitting streak would be a series of 6 hits, although Lotto number 39 in that game had a series of 12 hits without losing more than 3 games between each hit. Double bottoms occur when a number which is not hit for several drawings hits, then loses an equal amount of drawings and hits again. For example, a Lotto number could skip 8 drawings, hit, then skip another 8 drawings and hit again. The second skip that forms the double bottom can be one-off, that is, as in this case, either 7, 8, or 9, and still conform to the double bottom pattern. A Lotto number could be played to anticipate a double bottom hit. There are also triple bottoms and quadruple bottoms, quintuple bottoms, even sextuple bottoms. The more times a number tests an area of support, the stronger that support becomes, and the more likely that the number will get hot. However, once that support is broken, the number could be in for a long losing streak. Let's say, using our previous example, if the number skips 12 games, it would have confirmed that it broke support, and we could expect the number to be out for a long time. Use your analytical faculties and common sense when you study this chart. If, for example, you see a number has had 5 or 6 hits with only 1 or 2 skips in between each hit, and then the number skips 9 or 10 games, you can assume that the number had finished its hot streak and had begun a well-deserved rest. So you would avoid playing such a number for a while. Use the up and down arrow keys to position the light bar on any line to highlight it for more easy viewing. The numbers starred with an asterisk at the bottom of the drawing since hit chart are the smart picks selected from that chart for the next drawing. Press the right arrow key to see the rest of the chart. Press the minus key on your keypad and you will go back 1 drawing. The smart picks chosen for that game are starred with an asterisk. There's a plus sign just to the left of the numbers that won in that game. So the numbers that have both a star and a plus are the winning numbers that were correctly selected from that chart by the smart picks. For example, smart picks chose 15 numbers in that game and got 4 correct. They were numbers 2, 4, 19, and 35. Press the right arrow key to see the rest of the chart. Press the left arrow key to bring it back. Before you go to the next chart, be sure to plus forward back to game 621, shown at the bottom of the screen. Notice the function keys F1 for help, F2 for print, and F3 for changing range. Notice that these are consistent throughout the program. While you have the drawing since hit chart on your screen, press F3 to switch to an abbreviated version of this chart. The abbreviated drawing since hit chart shows the last 64 drawings on one page. The Lotto numbers are listed down the left side of the screen, and the drawing results of the last 64 games show across the screen. On the lines, each dash represents a drawing in which the Lotto number on that line was not drawn. A drawing in which a number hit is marked with an X. Each equal mark on the right side of the chart shows the number of drawings each number is currently out. This can be confirmed by the number under the Games Out column. The next column is a listing of the Lotto numbers. The hits column shows the number of hits each number has had since the beginning of the game. The numbers at the top of the screen show the game numbers, marked by every fifth game for lack of space on the screen. Notice on the right that Lotto number 1 has one equal sign, which means it skipped one game since it last hit, the hit being marked with an X. The 7 dashes before the last X means it skipped 7 games, and before that it had hit as a bonus number marked by an A. Use the up and down arrow keys to position the light bar on any line to highlight it for more easy viewing. This chart is best seen when printed out because you can see all the patterns made during the past 64 drawings by all the Lotto numbers. You can use this chart by projecting the patterns made by the wins. For example, in this Pennsylvania 640 chart, you might choose Lotto numbers 5, 20, or 29. Or you might anticipate a large gap area being filled in and select some numbers between 8 and 16 or between 24 and 29. After you've made your selections from this chart, see how those numbers look on other charts. This is just one more tool you can use to help refine your number picks. Or you might also discover a sleeper that hadn't been obvious in other charts. I find this chart particularly useful in helping me decide which long shot numbers to play. Use the up and down arrow keys to position the light bar on any line to highlight it for more easy viewing. Press the left arrow key to move the page back to the previous 64 games, or hold down the Control key while you press the left arrow to get to the beginning of the game. Or hold down the Control key and press the right arrow and it brings you back to the very latest games. Don't forget to use page up and page down to move the charts so you can see the entire chart. Now press F4 Numeric. The Drawing Between Hits chart is another way of looking at the drawing since hit material. It gives far more data on one page than either of the other two charts because it shows in numeric form the number of drawings skipped between hits. On one page, you see 21 skip periods for each Lotto number. It doesn't show the hits unless there are 2 wins in a row, in which case 1 0 is shown. When there are 3 wins in a row, 2 zeros are shown. On the right of the chart are 3 columns: the number of games out, the Lotto number, and the total number of hits. Press the left arrow key to page back in history. Press the right arrow key to page forward. Hold down the Control key while you press the left arrow to get to the earliest games instantly. Hold down the Control key while you press the right arrow key to get to the most recent games instantly. Press F2 to print the chart. You have a choice of printing one line of data for each Lotto number or printing all the data in the game. You might want to print all the data for your game once to study it and identify the patterns. After that, you may want to look at the last page on the screen only. Escape to the main menu and view these charts for the Lotto game you play.